Hello there, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by for your daily Reiki micro session. This is a micro session because it's only 5 minutes long. And so we'll do this for 5 minutes. And after that, we'll do 5 minutes of questions where you can ask whatever's on your heart and whatever's on your mind. And I'll open up and use my psychic abilities to come up with some answers for you. But for right now, we're just focusing on the Reiki. And for those of you who don't know, 5 minutes is really just a tiny little snippet of Reiki. It's not that much at all, but it does give you a chance. If you have questions about the Reiki, this is a great time to ask those. Reiki is good for so many wonderful things. Most people know about Reiki as being good for medical situations, for improvement there. But Reiki is also good for, believe it or not, financial situations, relationship situations, emotional and psychological situations. So there's lots of things that Reiki can help us with. What I'm doing today is I'm just setting the intention for the Reiki to help everybody who watches this with whatever it is that they need the most help with today. So let's get the Reiki started, shall we? All right, so we're starting Reiki at 8 after the hour. That means we're going to be finishing up at 13 after the hour. Gracie, hello, hello, welcome. Glad to see you here. Thank you for the thumbs ups, everybody. I know, Gracie, you're one of them. Somebody else already did a thumbs up as well. Thank you to all of you who will be putting thumbs up on this video also. Thank you to those of you who are sharing this video so that it can reach anybody that it can help, especially the Reiki part, and Reiki can help everybody. If you guys have questions about Reiki, this is a great time to ask me some of those questions about what is Reiki, how does it work, what is it good for? Whatever questions you may have in your mind about Reiki, this is a really great time to ask those while I'm sending the Reiki energy out. Gracie, you sound like you were desperate to make it with that thank God in there. You know, there's good Reiki energy on the replays too, right? Not saying I'm not happy you're here, because I am. Everybody else that's here, go ahead, say hi. Let us know that you're here. I enjoy knowing who all's in the room. If anybody has questions about Reiki, this is a great time to ask those. Happy to answer any questions about the Reiki for you. Y'all don't have to be so quiet. Don't bore me. Don't bore me. Nobody has questions. I start getting bored and obviously distracted. Look at me working on moving at the same time that we're talking on the video. And Maris Cunningham, hello, hello, welcome. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Glad you're in the room. What are you using your Reiki for today? Well, I will be answering one question for each person in the room that has a question after the Reiki's over. And then if you'd like to get a live reading with me or even a 1 or 2 question reading off of my website, you can find contact information for me on that. We've still got some time on the Reiki, though. I think I said 13 after is when we're going to wrap it up. So after that is when you can throw your question up in chat. I'll let you know when it's time. You'll know. Thank you for the thumbs ups, everybody. Does anybody have any questions about Reiki? La da 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 da. I am a Yasui Reiki master, so I do teach Reiki too. If you're interested in learning how to do Reiki for yourself, get a hold of me and we'll set up a schedule and we'll schedule a class time. I don't actually have that on my website, but it is something that I offer. Oh no, that's okay. If you don't have questions, you don't have questions. I just want to make sure that people who are new that are just passing through, because we have a lot of people that pass through on these lives that aren't really familiar with me or with Reiki. I just want to make sure that they know that this is a great time to ask those questions. This Reiki has the intention of helping you with whatever it is that you need the most help with today, Amorous. So that applies for each and every person. So you guys are all getting whatever it is you need the most of, whether it's the same or not. So I'm not sure if you would call that general or not, but it's for everybody who views the video. One more minute left on the Reiki. I mean, I know what a general reading is. I'm not sure you can really do a general Reiki. I personally always set an intention for my Reiki whenever I send it out. You're quite welcome, quite welcome. Do you do Reiki yourself, Amaris? Or Amaris? I'm not sure where I should put the accent on that name. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap that up. And now, time for questions. Let me start my timer. You all start throwing your questions up in the chat box. We've only got 3 people in the room, so I imagine we'll get through all of them in 5 minutes. Just guessing. Always found it interesting. If you ever decide you want to learn Reiki Level 1, which teaches you how to do Reiki for yourself and for people that you can actually physically, tangibly touch, I do teach that online. And you can schedule with me and we'll set up a class for you. Or if you and a friend that want to learn it together, that's even better because then you get to practice on somebody right there too during class. Okay, what a question. Starting off with the big guns. Did Tyler sabotage Amaris's energy today at work? Did Tyler sabotage Amaris's energy? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nobody else really gets to sabotage our energy. We're in control of it. And here's what I see about you, Amaris. Normally, you're like the foundation. You're rock solid. You rock your energy and you keep it all the time in a pretty good place. Now, today, you learned something. You learned something about keeping it rock solid. You learned something about sheltering and protecting your own energy. And I think you learned it from Tyler. First of all, I see Tyler as coming up as being somebody who you don't really enjoy his presence, or else he doesn't enjoy yours, one or the other, maybe both. Usually that's a both type of thing. And y'all don't play well together. Y'all don't work well together anyway. So he's a more challenging person for you to keep your energy up when you're in interactions with him. But as far as him sabotaging, no, because you're responsible for your own energy. We all are. We all are. It's a pretty high standard. But, if we let other people control our energy, then we're letting other people control our lives. We have to take that control. We have to control our energy. Oh, no, I was just joking around about it being a heavy hitting. I don't mind. I bet you did learn something from that. I've had an experience like that lately where I've been around somebody on a regular basis who I would like to blame for sabotaging my energy, but I know it's really, I let them. Who else has a question? Happily ever after. Glad to see you back in here. How does George feel about happily ever after? Now, I am going to answer that, but I'm also going to tell you that feelings are transitory. Transitory. This could be out of date 10 minutes from now, 20 minutes from now. All right, let's start right here. Aw. Okay, so it looks to me like George is healing up from something between the two of you in the relationship. It looks to me like he wants to be your man. This is the guy who is the good provider. He's very protective. This is the guy that's kind of the old-fashioned person that I would, back in the olden days, this is the person that you would say, oh, you want to marry him if the young girls come to me for a reading and he shows up. He's going to be more old-fashioned and macho. He's going to take on some of those old world type roles more seriously as far as protecting and providing. He's not going to be um, really thrilled if somebody talks too bad or whatever. He's going to be stepping up to the plate for you. So this is him really wanting to be that person for you. And then we have, what is this? The Five of Arrows? Yes. And it's in reverse. And this talks about he really is feeling like ending the struggle. Whatever the struggle has been between the two of you, he's ready to quit the struggle that's been going on or the fight that's been going on. That's like a Five of Swords in reverse. That would be like being the peacemaker. Thank you, Amaris. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, my dear. It is really a very sweet card to have come up. Bonnie Snow, do you have a question, my dear? The timer hasn't gone off yet. You're quite welcome. I hope that all made sense for you, sweetie. Let's see. Who else has not asked a question? Who else has not asked a question? Throw your question up in the chat and I'll be happy to answer for it as long as you get it into me before the timer goes off. Which means there's 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Okay, Bonnie Snow. How's your teeth going? That's a pretty open question. Show me what's going to be coming up over the next 3 weeks for dental for Miss Bonnie, please. Don't ask me where those sounds come from. I don't know. Let's see. Are you supposed to be getting teeth pulled? I have to ask this to kind of get some of this into context to see if this is the context I think. You're welcome to just hang out, Gracie. We're glad to have you here. I'll be looking forward to that, Alicia, and the sooner the better. So Bonnie, I'm kind of waiting on your answer. Are you planning on having teeth literally pulled? Okay, that makes, okay. Look at this. Your very first card. You're having a hard time letting them go. That's what this card talks about, having a hard time letting something go. So this can be a couple of things. First of all, this can be that literally you're like, you have two minds about whether you actually want to do this or not. This can also be about those teeth are pretty firmly rooted and they may not pull really easy. This may be something where you end up having to actually have surgery to have them removed. But I think that a lot of this has to do more with, I don't really think it's more the surgery thing as much as I feel like it's the idea of removing teeth. I think that is a little bit of a blow to the ego for you, is how I'm feeling the feeling coming off of this card. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, am I getting old? I'm having to pull teeth type of feeling. Okay. And how is this going to impact how I look to the rest of the world? All right. So looking over the next 3 weeks. So that's not really saying what's happening as much as it's talking about your emotional response to what's happening. So that's just the first card. Okay. Next card that comes up is my Knight of Arrows in reverse. This talks about confusion, being confused about what direction to go as far as teeth. I really feel like some of this has to do with financial, that there may be a little bit of a question about how am I going to pull this off financially? How much is insurance going to cover? How much do I have to come up with out of pocket? Or maybe even how am I going to come up with what I need to out of pocket? So there is a little bit of confusion coming up here. Now, my next card looks a little bit better. This card talks about realizing that there's untapped potential here. This card talks about coming to the realization that, you know what, there's a lot of benefit here that I hadn't really been focused on, and starting to focus on the good of your plan. And then, Ooh, baby. Right about the 2 weeks point, give or take a few days. We have the Queen of Swords showing up here. This is somebody who is able to put on her business hat and take care of business. This is also, wow, this could also be talking about surgery. So this could be talking about the teeth actually being cut out rather than pulled out to be removed. Doesn't have to be. The first impression I got off of this card when I was looking at it was that this has to do with getting the money together and understanding where the finances are going to come and actually going in for that appointment and getting it taken care of. And then as I was holding it up and looking at the camera at this card, I was remembering, yeah, Queen of Swords, sometimes she has to do with surgery too. So there's the potential there for surgery. Although really, I'm going to say the first thing that hit me was just taking care of business and getting it taken care of. So once again, surgery is kind of coming up, but it's coming up more as an afterthought. So I'm really not leaning towards that it's going to take a surgical procedure. And this is how this ends up. The end of our 3-week period, we've got the Ace of Vessels. This talks about happiness, finding some happiness in your new situation with your teeth. Okay. So to me, this is talking about a happy conclusion. You're able to do whatever it is you need to do, and you're happy with the outcome. Makes sense? I think about 2 weeks, give or take a few days, is when you're actually going to be taking action with your dental stuff. All right, cool. Excellent. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for hanging out here with me and spending some of your precious time with me today. I always like hanging out with you guys, and especially when you give me some good, meaty, juicy questions like that. That's so wonderful. Jenna, hi. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I just answered the last question. But if you catch me the next time I'm live, you can catch me. And if you get here in time, you can ask a question then. Or I have pre-recorded 1 or 2 question readings where I have live readings that you can buy off of my website. And my website's in the description box below. No, you're totally cool. I'm glad you're here. Don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the notifications bell. All right, so thank you guys very much for spending some of your wonderful time with me. Thank you for the thumbs ups on this video. Those of you who do super chat, thank you for the super chats whenever they happen. Of course, you guys, I forgot to say super chats are always appreciated, but never required. I guess if I remembered to say that more consistently, you guys might give me more super chats, maybe. Anyway, thank you also to those of you who are ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions. It is because of all of you guys' support that I get to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everybody have a fantastic day. And I will see you guys back on the next video here if I don't see you for a private before that. Peace out.